My name is David Morton. I'm the Landscape Curator here at Brucemore. It's a 26-acre estate located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's one of the few National Trust historic sites in the Midwest. And this show is about how to create this little piece of paradise in your own backyard. A day in the life of a gardener. Okay, so I'm so excited. We got our roses in yesterday. These come from Heirloom Roses I think they're in Washington or Oregon, Northwest coast somewhere. But these are lovely. There's an English rose, old garden roses. And what I like about this particular place, or this rose grower, is that they grow them on their own roots. Now, what I mean by that is these are grown from a cutting. Many modern roses are grafted onto another rootstock of another rose because the rootstock is hardier than the actual rose itself. The only issue with that is if the rose dies back, what comes back is the rootstock, not the rose you necessarily purchased. But in this case, these are on their own roots, so their roots spread, and they'll grow canes out of the ground, will shoot up as the rose matures. A perfect example of this in this particular plant is you can see here's the main stem, and then there's another little stem over here growing. Well, that's the same rose, so you'll get a nicer bush, and that's very advantageous in areas like we live here in Iowa, where winter could kill them back. So they arrived yesterday, and we had to unpack them right away. They came in plastic and cardboard, little plastic bags, and we unwrapped them, and I watered them right away. That's what you want to do right away. Usually I get them in bare root, which means they're not in any soil. They're just this, and then their roots are bare. If you were to order them like that, which is just as good, you can, what I would do is stick them in water until you're ready to plant them, or pot them up until you're ready to plant them. These are already potted up, so I won't repot them, I'll just plant them. Probably the beginning of May, give a little head start, or mid-May, somewhere in there. We usually don't plant until mid-May, but with these roses, I think getting them out a little early wouldn't be a bad thing because it is going to have to survive. And if any of it did die back, it would still be young enough or new enough, and it's still the growing season has begun, so it wouldn't kill it, as opposed to sticking it out in the ground right now. Well, I couldn't because the ground is frozen. So I'm watering them right now, and I'm feeding them until I plant them. And I'll feed them once a month with a nice little organic fertilizer. I use a Siphon X, so it comes through as I water. So I picked 3 different varieties for the garden this year. 2 of them are old garden roses, and one of them is an English rose, David Austin English rose. I'm trying to find roses that are hardy to our area here in Iowa, so that's one of the reasons why I picked these. The other is because of their fragrance and the color and the shape of the flower. And in this case, because it's white and it's going to go in the night garden. This is Madame Plantier. She's an old garden rose. I can't say what year she was introduced, maybe early 1800s. And she's got a really beautiful sort of white, fluffy flower that blooms in clusters. And I think she'll just look really perfect in the night garden, and especially in an old garden or, our type of prairie style garden. This is called Yolande de Aragon. This is another old garden rose, one of my favorites ever. What I like about this thing is they get about 6 feet, 7 feet tall, if you let them, which is perfect for the inside of the beds where I'm going to plant this. It'll get about, 2 feet wide probably here, maybe wider if I can keep it through the winters. And it gets this beautiful, large, peony-looking, cabbage-type rose, and it has the most strong fragrance you can imagine. It's just a perfect rose fragrance. And then the last one I got is called Darcey Bussell, and this is an English rose, and she'll go in the formal garden as well, in the middle of one of the beds. I think these 2 will be planted across from each other in one of the beds in hopes that they'll eventually expand. And then this one, of course, will go in the night garden. So this one has a purple, kind of a violet colored flower, but the same sort of cabbage look to it. They look like peonies. I think that type of rose looks perfect and works really well in an English style, prairie style garden that we have here at Brucemore. So very excited. So I ordered these, I want to say last fall, to ship this spring. They actually came a little early, but we were lucky because we had a pretty mild winter and no freezing temperatures when they happened to ship them. Once they sent me a note saying that your roses are shipping, it was Monday, and then I think they came in here on Thursday. So very quickly they arrived. And then we had to, of course, unpack them right away. You don't want to leave them in there for very long because they've been in there on their travels. So the minute they get here, they want to get out. Just sort of like you'd want to get out of your car after a 9-hour trip. So what I do is bring them out here. Now I'm lucky. I've got this beautiful greenhouse. So I'm going to leave them right in here, right where they are, and I'm just going to water them as needed and feed them and plant them as soon as I feel like it's safe to go outside for my precious prized roses, which again will probably be the beginning of May, mid-May, somewhere in there. We'll go ahead and plant them. In the meantime, we'll prepare the area that we're going to plant these in. When I do take this outside, what you're going to do is you're going to dig a hole. I would say that's twice as big as this, twice as deep as this, so that it has a nice area from which to continue to grow. Now, I would also add some nice organic compost, if you can, to most soils. Here at Brucemore, we have the best soil ever, so I don't usually need to add anything to it. I know I'm bragging, so I won't need to add any here, but I would take that soil out, mix it half and half, and then when you plant them, I would go ahead and plant them a little deep, meaning depending on where you are. I mean, if you're on the West Coast, you don't do this, but when you're where we have harsher winters, you want to bury the canes just a little bit just to protect them, again, from the freeze. If you can keep any part of the plant alive, and it should die from frozen whatever or whatever else might get it, you won't lose the plant totally. So that's what we'll do, and then we'll make a little ring around it to hold water with the soil that I use as I backfill, just for the time being, so that when you water it, you make sure that the water is actually going to the roots. And that's an important step to remember too, is watering after you plant, and then continuing to water for at least a month or so to get these things established. It's like they're still in their container, and you'll want to keep watering them if you're not getting sufficient rains. Don't plant it and forget about it. Water is crucial when you're trying to get things established in a garden. So that goes for your annuals, whatever it is you're planting. You want to keep them watered. You want to pretend they're still in their containers. And then we'll feed it. I usually feed, the garden is such lovely soil out there, but I usually throw in some organic feed once in the spring and once in the summer, and then let it go. But this is organic fertilizer, so it's going to break down the soil over time as well. Very excited, making me want to get this spring. Part of the inspection is to look at these things. Now these have this nice new growth coming out here. That is a really nice sign, actually. That means the roses are pretty healthy and ready to go. And they probably cut them back. Well, I know they cut them back before they actually shipped them. So they're going to be in a little bit of a shock right now, which is okay. It's not going to kill them. What you also want to look for is any of these dead areas. Now, these didn't have much dead, but I always cut off anything that's dead, which I already did yesterday. But actually, there wasn't much dead on any of these, but that's one of the other things you want to look for. And make sure they don't have any major insects on them, which these didn't either. Very healthy. I'm very impressed with these things, to be honest. Thank you for watching A Day in the Life of a Garden. This is my favorite plants, and this is one of my favorite times of year. We're getting ready. It's coming. Days are just getting longer. Temps are just getting warmer. Let's go, baby. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more, hit the like button, the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel.